and he actually doesn't have that bad of an offense, but he got hooked up with the Yankee again. He wanted Ellsbury. He gets Pedroia, a popular guy.
He ended up getting Chris Davis, in my opinion, pretty late.
Yeah, 10th pick.
I think he got a very good deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, will this Ellsbury calf hold up? I think Pedroia is on the downward spiral. What do you think about that?
I don't think Pedroia is on the downward spiral. He still plays for a very competitive team. They still play with a lot of heart. They're still right there. They still think they could win a championship there. And that's just a competitive guy. Why wouldn't you want a guy, especially at a position that's ridiculously shallow? I
don't think it's as shallow as you think. I think second base is a little better than people think, and I don't think there's really that many studs there other than Cano and Kipnis. I actually love Doug Fister, but he's hurt. I think that's someone that could really help him. The Junior Lake pick was really good. He picked him late. You never know, that could be a surprise. I mean, Joey went with the safe, obvious magazine website picks, and his team. His team offense doesn't look awful, but his average should be the negative there.
I think he can surprise.
I think he can surprise. I mean,
there's a possibility that he can surprise.
Axford is an issue because he looks a little shaky, and Joey really doesn't have a true ace. I mean, he took John Lester first, who I happen to like, but other than that, he needs, Tim Lincecum, Chris Tillman, Matt Garza, who pitched great today. The issue with Joey simply is he will be nowhere to be found. Okay, he won't really look at the message board. He won't react to the message board. It's going to be hard to find him. He won't trade. He won't tweak this team. He won't make deals. He won't try to get rid of anyone. A great D+, post draft. Better than expected. Probably will finish between 6th and 10th, but he won't know how to improve this team. So
we're going to move to team number 9, and this is the Bistro Smokers.
Dude, this is Sal and Walter. This is our defending champions.
Delicious short ribs.
Oh, those, you know what?
Copycat, but I said they were delicious, but
I didn't put out the sweet potato, which I wish I would have, because it would have went perfect with that. Sweet potato and the barbecue short ribs. But anyway, 50-1 pre-draft, 8 expected grade level, around 3 to 5 finish. But I tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
I think that they had one of the worst second halves of the draft than anybody could have. I mean, their second 13 picks is
so weak. You kept crapping on them every pick.
Other than maybe Wong, who is speculative, and Castellanos, who is speculative, and Rendon, who a lot of people do like. I really don't see anything here. I mean, David Freese, Yonder Alonso, Zach McAllister, Felipe Polino, David Hale, Alex Guerrero, Noah Syndergaard, Josh Beckett. They got Lance Lynn on the team as well. So, I mean, I think they really blew it. They showed a ton of loyalty, Segura and Harper. And, Bryce Harper, he's a first-round pick.
I guess so. He went first round this year.
When did he become a first-round pick? I mean, does his stats show first round? I mean,
I guess he's on the Mike Trout bandwagon because they came up at the same time, so they tend to group them in the same boat.
I just think that he didn't deserve. I wasn't even looking at him in the first round. To me, he doesn't deserve it yet. And then he sprinkled in a couple of rebound candidates, Josh Hamilton and Matt Kemp, and we talked about Matt Kemp a lot during the draft. When did we take him? And I said I wanted no part of him. You kind of said the same thing.
And I said I wouldn't go near him. But it's okay to try one, but to have two. I mean, just like you can't win when you have 2 catchers. We know that.
Yes.
You can't win this league when you have 2 catchers. I mean, obviously, that's like saying...
And he got lucky with that because Posey had a horrible year last year.
That's like calling sauce gravy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
And Rosario had a great year last year. So
he did.
I just think Kemp has hamstring and ankle issues. So he isn't going to run. And it's just like Tulo. They're not going to run Tulo no more and risk, him, blowing out a thing. So... I
think his team is manageable though, where he can pick up enough people to be competitive. Because it is the lower half of his team. I think he can because it's evenly spread through his offense and pitching. I think if he makes a couple moves, he might be all right.
I don't know. I think this team is in trouble. I think that.
Well, what are their post-draft odds?
Well, their post-draft odds were I gave them a B- grade level, and their post-draft odds are 125-1. This is a 50-50 team. Too much work to do here. Wow. I think that they thought they were going to come in here again and hit the jackpot like they did last year when everything worked out. Segura's got
and everything
issues.
Did work out.
Everything worked out last year. And they were going to weave this magic wand and be like, this works. They're pitching.
How are they going to be?
Weave the magic wand. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think they're in trouble. This is not a contending team. They're going to struggle all year.
Well, we're going to move on to team number 8. Team Archer.
Team Archer is John Torchio, and I got on him for naming his team Team Archer, and he don't understand.
But you got your player anyway.
It doesn't matter, but anybody, I'm surprised other people weren't upset at this.
You got him anyway.
Pre-draft, Torch was 100-1 and expected C+ level. I thought he would finish maybe between 4th and 7th. First of all, I think that John Torchio. Oh yeah, we got on Pepsi Next too.
Pepsi Next.
Paid for the video. Pepsi Next. You know what I mean? I think that Torch is such a hard person to read. You really never know what frame of mind he is in. You know, he comes in there with a very dry look and no sense of reaction and emotion. And you don't know if he's in a good mood, bad mood, serious, excited. You really have no idea. I think he tries to come in. He tries to, pick a spot to sit. And then he worries about that.
Well, I think he thinks like he's going to do better through like meiosis. Like he's just going to okay, I'm near Tom, I'm near Rich, okay, I'm near Rob. Rob's doing good, with his armpits in the air, all sweaty, and maybe I can get some of that fantasy baseball off him. Yes. And I really don't think it worked, and usually I'm a big fan of John Torchio, but personally I don't think his draft worked. What do you think?
I just think that he doesn't settle in. He doesn't come calm. He doesn't get into like a positive peace of mind. You know what I mean? He worries about some of the little things, his surroundings, more than his team. You know what I mean? So, I think sitting near Rob was a distraction. Okay?
Because of Rob's sweaty armpits?
Well, I know, and Rob was sweating, but we'll talk about him later on.
No problem. I just want to know if it affected Torch.
I just didn't think he couldn't get comfortable. I just think that they have other things outside of baseball.
I think he was enamored by Rob's pheromones.
Possibly.
And he was just so aroused.
And pheromones, they make people attract to each other.
That's right. It distracted him from picking a good player.
And he also was close to Rob in draft. Rob had the 6th pick. Torch had the 8th pick.
Yep.
And that's pretty close. So you're sitting there someone that you have a relationship with, and you're relatively close. So if he sees your paper, or you see his paper, or he asks you about a player, or you ask him about a player,
or you see his and he sees yours.
It's just, they don't work well together at the same table. I didn't think that. Here's the issue that I have with Torch, and that is, I think that Torch took some players that Rob wanted. You know what I mean? And that might have got a little friction in that vicinity of the room. Once again, he took some old players, Aramis Ramirez, Pagan, and Wandy Rodriguez, and Torch tends to do that. A couple of more.
Teixeira was a stretch.
Teixeira was a stretch. Sabathia, Gallardo, Kennedy,
I thought
Velasco.
was a great pick, but I know you disagree with that. But
listen, Torch has very poor average.
He's got some decent pitching, though, if you look.
This team is horrible.
I don't know, dude.
He has 5 nice pitchers.
Zach Rankanuch. He has
Waka Wilson. Waka Wilson and
Womo. He's got Womo, even though it's Romo.
Romo and Greinke.
That's Sabathia. Wilson. Giovanni Gallardo.
Let's just get to the team. I just honestly, I gave Torch an F grade. I mean, this is without a doubt one of the worst teams after the draft. 400-1. Post-draft odds, most likely bottom 3 finish. This is a bad team.
I disagree.
With no depth, nothing more than a cast of the usual suspects. Torch needs to, get comfortable. He never gets comfortable. He needs to figure this out. There's a lot of issues already, old-timers. Just look at his team after pick 12. CC Sabathia, Brian Dozier, Mark Teixeira, Jonathan Villar, Nick Marquez, Giovanni Gallardo, Nick Swisher, Ian Kennedy. These are all those last picks. Wandy Rodriguez, Jurickson Profile. You're going to drop them. Why take them? Mike Alt, Richie Nolasco. I mean, this is a bad team. One of the worst teams in the league, no doubt about it.
Wow, okay. On that note, we're going to move on to team number 7.
This is
Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
This is Tommy D'Amico, and it was supposed to be his son, Joey D'Amico. Joey D'Amico had to work. His other brother was there, Chris D'Amico. And, this was when, Tommy was by himself in the beginning, and then Chris had to come in and fill in for a little bit while Tommy had to head.
I thought that went smoothly.
The switch went smoothly.
I think the switch went smoothly.
When they were together.
What did you think about the picks? You said you thought they were better when the brother was by himself.
I thought when Tommy was by himself, for the first 7 picks, it went great. And then when Chris was by himself for the next 6 or 7 picks, it went great. And then when they were together, that's when they lost their way.
Right.
So I'd expected like a C- grade from Tommy D'Amico coming into the draft with a pre-draft odds of 250-1.
I really give this team not too much of a shot. Their pitching is good, though.
No, I gave them a D grade for post-draft and 350 to 1 odds. Most likely an 8th through 10th finish. You know, their ability to run a team is definitely something that you have to look for. They're not good at it. Too much work. No, you know, and they don't have the, you know, I don't want to say, they just don't have the energy to do it. I mean, you know, Chris came in and picked 7 through 13 and snagged someone with Cashner and Reed and Brett Garner. But then, you know, I don't know what happened. Ugla, Ludwig, Mesoraco, Smoke, Feldman, Frazier, Reddick, Maloney, Morton. And these are all horrible picks. These are all picks they made together. And, you know, the magazines do oh so much for you and the lists do oh so much. And then you cross them out and there's no names there any longer. And I think that's
what makes champions, you know. And,
yeah.
You know, when you could pick beyond the book, obviously that makes you the champion.
There's no speed on this team. There's one pitcher, Max Scherzer, in my opinion, and not much support, no depth. So, you know, not much. 350 to 1, D grade average. Nothing to brag about.
We're going to move on to team number 6, the Social Assassins.
You know, the Social Assassins.
What are we going to talk about first?
Well, first of all, I mean, was Rob nervous? Or what
I don't know, though. He looked calm as a clam. Now.
I think he had a lot. I think the videos, the pre-draft, gets him like. He gets nervous because there's so much expecting of him, and I think he's insecure. He can't handle the pressure.
Would it be because you made me notice that he had pools underneath his armpits?
And I think that...
And he was actually like accentuating it by going like this. And then you said, look at Rob's armpits. And nervous. I looked and I went, wow. But he looked cool as a cucumber.
No, I think he
looked
was
cool
nervous.
as a cucumber.
You know, rumor has it that he was blaming it on Chris Picone because Chris Picone was cold and Chris Picone had the heat on. It was so hot in that room. Why would he have the heat on?
And Chris Picone's a big man.
He's a big man. So, I mean, that's what Rob said, or that's what I heard. I'm not saying Rob said it. I heard it.
You already said Rob
I heard it. I heard it. I heard it.
No backtracking.
Personally speaking, I think he was nervous. Okay, I think that there's a lot to prove here with Rob. There's always pressure on him. But to be honest with you, I expected a B+ grade level coming in. And I gave him pre-draft 25 to 1 and expect to finish 2 to 4. But let me tell you something right now. I think Rob had an unbelievable draft, great draft.
You put his cock back in your mouth.
Back in my mouth.
Excuse me.
I give him a B+ post-draft, 10 to 1 post-draft odds. A title contender, but most likely 2 to 4 finish. I mean, power is probably the only thing he needs. His pitching looks dominant. I mean, Rob will be tough to beat here. You know, Yu Darvish, Greg Holland, Francisco Liriano, Balfour, Cueto, Ventura, Rex Brothers. This is a sick staff. And I know Dow took all these pitches, but this staff is better. And when you have the best staff, you don't need that much more. And his hitters aren't that bad. He just needs power. McCutchen is there for speed. Victorino's hurt, but what if he comes back? I would have stood away from Victorino.
No, actually, I like the Victorino pick.
Rob had a couple of inconsistent early picks. He couldn't really put 2 picks together back to back. The Carlos Santana and the Anthony Rizzo back-to-back picks were a little shaky for me, and that's when I think the armpits really started getting moist.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's pressure right there. Rizzo and Santana, 5th and 6th round. You know, Mike Napoli, I think, is on the way down. You know, and I don't know. I wasn't targeting McCutchen, and I don't think Rob wanted the 6th pick.
Right.
Because as much as McCutchen is the safe play, you know, his upside is, I think, the same. 20, 90.
But I think, I mean, come on, he's there with the 6th pick. You have to take him. I mean, come on. I mean, you're not going to get those kind of stats anywhere else.
You could think about, well, I think that he didn't want the 6th pick. He would have been happy with
Carl. But I think he was happy taking McCutchen.
I think he would have took Ryan Braun, to be honest with you, if he was there. But he obviously wasn't there.
He might have.
You know, just to say, he definitely needs more power. I'm not sure what Xander Bogaerts and Santana and Rizzo, and if Hayward needs to rebound. But I tell you right now, Rob Wolf, you're back in the game, buddy. This is a contending team. I think you're going to be tough all year. I'm so proud of you. I'm very